Welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. Hope you are doing okay, and I hope you've been keeping yourself well. So first of all, I do want to apologise for a delay in uploads. I don't know if you'd see the post on YouTube, I have been having some issues with a family member who's in hospital. They're stable, then they're stable now, and they're getting the treatment and slowly recovering. It's been a process. It was a bit of a shock, as you can imagine, and yeah, it's just been a lot to deal with. But I'm gonna try my best to keep at least something coming a week for you to watch. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying the videos, and I do appreciate all the kind words that have been said so far in Discord and on the post. So I do appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Now we are going to be diving into some EVE Online. Now we've got what we're going to be looking at is Z kill, because there's a few nice juicy kill mails I want to have a look at on here. But first of all, guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button for me. I would really appreciate it, and give a like for the algorithm so we can get this video recommended out to more and more people. As I said a while ago, we do have a target of 10,000 subs by Christmas or by the new year, which is one hell of a challenge. It is what, 4 months? 4 months to get that. Which is what, 2,500 subscribers a month. That's quite a hell of a target. I would just be happy with 4,000 or 5,000, but I'm pushing. I always set the bar high and go from there. So first of all, we want to have a look at some of the big kills. So the first one is a Brave United Titan in Podium in Derelict. Now, he's max tank fit, because he's got shield stuff in the medium slots, and he's got a full tank fit, and he's got a horrible T2 damage control in. I mean, come on, at least Syndicate. It should be. God, what's this? Okay, at least he's got A-types. Yeah, it's max tank fit, and with that is it. Oh, he's got officer sensor boosters in there, and his guns are in the cargo. He's got 2 guns fitted, the other 2 in cargo. He's got a cloak, a DD fitted, and a jump portal generator. With this being Podium, I'm just going to throw this out there yeah, his guns are in there. I don't know why, but I'm going to throw this out there that he just bought that, or he'd either bought it because someone had it and it went to asset safety and they put it up on contracts, or they had it and it went to asset safety and they've got it there. Because Podium is a asset safety system for nullsec, for the southern parts of nullsec, or southeast. Somewhere around there anyway. It's either east, southeast, or somewhere, and I believe that is an asset safety system. But where was he? Let's have a look. It was system. It just says, okay, it just says Podium. It didn't say if he was a moon or anything like that. He might have just been at a safe spot logged off, but I highly doubt it. But that was hunted down by Northern Coalition and Purple Helmeted Warriors, who are these guys are very good at hunting super carriers and titans and stuff like that, moving through low sec, because they're easy targets in that space. So that was that's a shame, really. But if you get your Titan or super carrier out of asset safety, for the love of God, do not undock it until you can jump out immediately, because if you are in a station in a Titan, once you undock, you cannot redock. You cannot do it. So the best thing to do is have a Sino, multiple jumps away within your range, preferably as far on the edge of your range as possible. Then as soon as you undock, even if there are people, if the whole gang is there waiting for you, you have, what is it, 10-15 seconds 10-15 seconds of or 30 seconds of invulnerability before anyone can target you. You've got plenty of time to jump out in that time. So make sure before you undock, Sino is lit, ready to go at a safe spot or outside a pause in another system if you're moving it to low sec. And as soon as you undock, start spamming the hell out of that jump button. Do not do anything to break that vulnerability, or you get destroyed like this. Now, next. I actually covered this later in the video, so we're going to be looking at that later in the video. We have another corp expelled. Don't know who they are, but they got dunked by, again, Deepwater Hooligans. Deepwater Hooligans, Black Ops Gang, and their Heavy Interdictor got destroyed, which, you know, hang on, Polycarbon engine housing. That was either someone trying to dunk on that dreadnought as a bait, or they tried dunking on something else, because that's just a pure damage nix with targeting and a line speed. That's not a combat. That's not like a fleet fit. That's not a PvE fit. That's a you jump in. Someone like Assassino, you jump in, you launch your fighters, and you've got pretty much as much damage as you can go with a good alignment speed. You destroy whatever the hell's on grid, and then you warp off before anyone gets to you. I think that's what's happened here, but gone wrong. But hang on, we can tell by looking at their kill board. Yes. That is exactly what has been happening. He's been using it. He's been using it to jump on stuff. So look, someone dropped it on a freighter. So they had a Varga, a broadsword, and some other stuff, and then they dropped the Nix on to basically volley it. And that, ouch. Wait, Deepwater Hooligans. Is this an AWOX? Is this possibly an AWOX? So Deepwater Hooligans pointed the freighter and dropped him on it. But then if you look here, Deepwater Hooligans then killed him using an alt. Sadaro. Sorry, this is no someone else. Yeah, okay. So he's dropped it on people with oh, hang on. No, this is all in one day. So they've pointed the freighter, and lit the Sino drop. Yeah, I think they might have baited him. I think that no, he came in, got on the kill mail, and then when they saw that they'd lit a Sino to drop a Nix, it looks like he has then dropped this gang on. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. That is hilarious. Imagine that. Oh my god, imagine dropping your Nix on a freighter and then you get counter dropped and instantly lose your Nix. Oh dear. And he's out again in a Thanatos. He's killing stuff in the Thanatos now because he's got to wait till he can get a Nix again. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Right, Salsa Dip. Nice name. Apocalypse Navy issue. That is an unfitted Nix. I'm going to go out on a whim and say, again, this is another asset safety one. Because it was at a state of 1 million kilometers off a station. So they've undocked it by the looks of it, forgot fuel, realised, oh shit, I've lost the I forgot fuel, and then logged off. So he's 1 million kilometers away from the station, which is your default safety warp point, and then they've just nuked him when he's warped off. That's hilarious, and because they didn't need a Hictor to point him, because he was probably logged off. He's got no fitting. Gutted. Gutted. And this guy, and this Alliance tournament ship, I do want to know what this is. I mean, I know it is a frigate, so you know, it is going to die to frigates very, very easily, like especially when it's webbed and all sorts. But that's an expensive ship. That's cool. I'm going to try and get hold of this guy, see if we can find out exactly what happened, if he was baited or if he was, you know, if something went wrong with what he was trying to do. Looks like as soon as you get a scram on that thing, it is dead. Looks like a kite. Yeah, that is a kiting ship. So yeah, it looks like that was he was either baited or he got somehow got scrammed, and that annihilated. That basically screwed him. But that's an Alliance tournament ship. It's basically a Wolf or Jaguar on absolute steroids. I'd probably say the Jaguar because of missiles. It's a Jaguar on steroids. They're really powerful ships, those are, when flown properly. And I'm sure this guy's probably had loads of kills with that thing on throughout its existence. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic, guys. Let's have a look what's actually going on in Delve and Querious still, because there's a lot of stuff still going on around here. I know there's a lot of other brawls conflicts going on, like around Providence, Catch, Derelict, and the Devoid, these areas. There's some big conflicts going on here. But we're going to have a look at Delve and Querious, as I've had a few updates from multiple people from both sides, which is actually amazing to get. So you guys know who you are, and thank you so much for updating me. So the Phoenix Coalition side, I'll do Phoenix Coalition side, then I'll go over to Only Fleets side. So just from what I've been told here, a couple of things have happened. Only Fleets dropped a Fortizar in XIX space, which is Legion of Exdeath. We formed around 410 pilots, while Only Fleets formed, if I remember right, around 500. This was the second time that we used Dreads for a CTA. We engaged them on the Fortizar, dropping the first waves of caps, but the FC quickly realised that odds were against us after more and more parties, small alliances and corps started getting involved and helping Only Fleets. Only Fleets Coalition dropped 87 dreads, while we only had around 60 on standby, so we took heavy losses. Now, if I bring this, I believe it was this BR onto screen now. He says, there we are. So let's just zoom in a touch. So as you can see here, we've got this is Phoenix Coalition versus Only Fleets. So 287 billion lost on the Phoenix Coalition side and 45 billion lost on the Only Fleet side. But as I said, they were outnumbered. They dropped a lot of Zenitras, but it's really good to see that the Zenitras are getting used so much now. They are like the top dreadnought because of their damage. And they're actually not that hard to build anymore. They used to be pretty difficult, and but it looks like they brought in high angle, a lot of high angle dreads as an entire rock fleet. Rock fleet, yeah, their rock fleet got decimated. Well, I mean, if rock and Ferox fleet will get decimated with that many dreadnoughts on grid, so they lost a bunch of dreadnoughts here. And there's always that token Naglfar. The token Naglfar. You gotta love it. There's some faction dreads that died, like the Rev Navy issue and the Moros Navy issue, Phoenix Navy issue, and the Zenitra. But these guys have clearly got capital superiority when it came to this fight alone. There is a few of the other guys on there, so Retflix and Chill, which I believe they lost something big recently. I will have to have a quick look on Zkill for that one. I'm pretty sure they lost something pretty big. Relatively. Yes, they did. They lost a super carrier in Catch, TA3T. TA3, why does that ring a bell? TA3T. Let's have a look. I want to know where that is in Catch, TA3T, because that's a really, really weird location for a Aeon to be. Oh, can't even spell. TA3T. Show on map. Okay, there it is, TA3T. That is the top end of Catch to Providence. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. So they lost that over there. A travel fit Aeon, it looks like, to usual third party super carrier hunters. So that's not good, but it's I do like to show all aspects of everything from these groups. So that was a hell of a good brawl, actually. $250 billion lost on their side, and 45 billion. But as you can see, they do have an extra nearly 100 people. So that you are expected to be met with that kind of those kind of issues if you are heavily outnumbered. I've just got one more thing to show on the old. So this is what I've been sent, just to give a bit of context of what we're now going to talk about. Only Fleets has grown larger in the past month alone, recruiting an extra 800-ish members to their alliance in July alone. So they've got some of these guys that have joined their alliance. Are Volta actually a part of their alliance? Okay, they are, yeah. I mean, those guys, I'm pretty sure those guys tend to go where the content is anyway. They just go where the fights are, and there's a hell of a lot of fights going on over here, so it's good for brawling all around. But they've added like nearly 800 people round to their group, which this is what happens when people get into a spot of area when there's a lot of fighting to happen. They need to recruit to make sure that they can keep the space. So another update from there, which was yesterday. Well, I don't know if it was yesterday exactly, but it was, this is when I got sent it. So today we took a system from Can I Bring My Drake? So while we are starting to be heavily outnumbered, we're still putting up a fight. Great to see. Can't win all the fights as they say. Drake and Only Fleets have also been busy this week, reinforcing multiple of our structures. So fun times ahead. We'll keep you posted on anything else that comes up. You, sir, are an absolute top sausage. Thank you very much for that. So there was also, let's have a look here. Was it this one? So just so we can look over briefly. So this is Only Fleet space in the middle here. They've got they've basically split the region in half. Because obviously to get down here from here, you have to go all the way around. But they've got these constellations here, which are actually they're all right constellations. Querious isn't like top tier space. It never has been. But there's some good defensible areas there. You can always camp these constellation gates or cut the region in half in K7D, which is a really nice strategical point there, K7D. But that is what we're going to highlight on with regards to Only Fleets, because bar that, I haven't managed, because I've got a lot of stuff going on lately, unfortunately, I have not managed to even log into Eve. This is the first time in like 5 days, 6 days I've logged into Eve. Probably more than that actually, but yeah. I've got a lot of stuff going on at the minute, which personal stuff with a family member in hospital. So I'm trying to keep up to date with this, but also trying to work on that as well. So let's move on to our next topic. Just before I do go, sorry, apologies. Just before I do go, I've also been sent this, which let me just find out where I can explain this to give this a little bit of context, because this explains who's who's got what space, and so on and so forth. Is it him? No. So again, someone else that has sent me these details says the blue group being us, which is Only Fleets. Yeah, this is a member of Only Fleets that sent me this. Yellow group is being Streamer Coalition. So the yellow group up here is the Streamer Coalition. And then you've got blue, which is Only Fleets. You've got Legion of X-Death, and you've got Synergy of Steel. So that's what obviously you've got in it here, but in it is staying out of it unless some bigger groups come balling in, or third party on stuff, which fair enough. And these guys, I can't remember what they didn't say anything about these guys. I think yeah. So that's just a little bit of context for you on who's in what space. So really helpful for that. Much appreciated. And one more, just so you can see. Again, I'll zoom in on this. So this is what I've also been sent, because I was trying to get an update on who's fighting who, and all this sort of stuff. So we've got Fraternity fighting XIX, Phoenix, basically everyone. Fraternity are fighting everyone. Streamer Co fighting XIX and Phoenix Coalition. They are not blue to Only Fleets, just fight with them against Phoenix and XIX. In it, fight Fraternity. Legion of X-Death and Phoenix Coalition fight Streamer Coalition, Fraternity and Only Fleets Coalition. Only Fleets, Volta, Big Ab fight Phoenix and XIX. Siege Green fight Fraternity, are blue to Only Fleets. Fraternity fight everyone. And Proviblock fight Phoenix Coalition and Legion of X-Death, but now have their own problems, which they do, which you're going to come to. Boss and Slow fight one side with Phoenix and XIX. So yeah, just a little context on who's fighting who and what's going on. As you can see, there's quite a lot of different angles going on here, which always is in these groups, but it is making for really interesting fights. And for those of you that are interested in a way, or somewhat interested still, with regards to our space, now as you can see here, we are starting to get some jump bridges set up so we can get around our space. Sino beacons are now deployed. So our beehive, which is our cover cover fleet that we use to protect dreadnaughts, supers, and stuff like that are out ratting, as well as rorquals mining. So how that works is we have in our capital a fleet of pilots. We'll use black ops ships and force auxiliaries and basically anything that can jump to help someone, including Titan Bridge with support ships. So what happens is, if someone is, say for example, someone is in MTAC-C in a rorqual and they have been hot dropped, they ping Beehive. Beehive send in the troops to go and defend them and save them. Once they're safe and the hostiles are forced off and whatnot, then Beehive return back to our capital, and then that person either carries on or waits for hostiles to go, and rinse and repeat. So whenever someone is running a Concord Rogue Analysis beacon or a crab beacon to make money, which we're going to be going into in a later video on optimal fits, how to run them, what you can get from them, and so on. We're going to look into do a deep dive into those, because they are good money. There's just a lot of setup with them. That's all it is. It's not a huge thing, but it's like one of the top end game kind of income in nullsec. So if someone's running a crab beacon again and they get dropped by bombers or black ops ships or a roaming gang, again, Beehive charge in, force them off grid or kill them all, and then go back to our capital. And basically, that it's normally, if you are running a beacon or you're doing some sort of PvE activity, you have an alt in there ready to come in and help, and or you have a Sino or you have a fax or something on standby in that fleet to help out when someone or yourself gets into trouble. So it's called the umbrella. If you've ever heard that term, in nullsec it's called the umbrella, and basically anything under that is basically protected by Beehive. Now there is a range restriction on that, obviously, because it's whatever Black Ops battleships, Force Auxiliaries, and Titans can bridge to. So there is a specific range involved in that. So that's why anything and everything that's capital size doing PvE is done under that umbrella. And so that means like any subcap ratting can be done out of range of that umbrella, because if you're in a subcap, you are not getting saved. There's marauders and stuff like that, you're not getting saved, because it's just too slow the response would not be quick enough to how quickly a subcap will go down, for example. So yeah, that's our update on our space. We have anchored a couple citadels, our old, so we've got our manufacturing Satoyo in CTAC-J here. We've got our manufacturing Satoyo, we have our research Satoyo, and I think our refinery is up and running now. And so the infrastructure is getting there. We do still need to wait for the jump bridges back in Wicked Creek and Deterred, but that's just waiting on the index to go up, which takes time. Unfortunately, there's no way to rush that. It takes time, so we can actually start anchoring these jump bridges around, so we can actually get around our space, basically like this. So our space is probably going to end up, I imagine Horde are going to be moving some of that spider web around there, maybe, because I think that's around their old capital. I imagine they're going to be moving it all around here. There's probably a lot of planning going on there. I don't know, but that might be the case. But we've got ours straight to next door to GTAC-Q, which is the main conflict zone from Goons to Horde. And it's really what has been happening. As you can see, there has been 38 ships destroyed in the last 36 ships destroyed in the last hour. So if you're looking at maybe 1,000 ships a day are destroyed in this one system or in GTAC-Q, it's normally them jumping over to us to reinforce our answer blocks to get a fight, and then we return the fight, and people going back and forth. It's this is what we wanted. It's constant PvP action, which is great. I mean, it's good for the Horde members because they can always just send like a small gang in, kill something, and get out before people come over from there. So it's settling in quite nicely now. There's constant PvP. There's always PvP around here. And then we've got our back regions here behind it all for, that's going to be subcap ratting, I believe, if I remember correctly. and then capital ratting around the capital. And then obviously we do have a lot of black ops that come over from Curse into Scalding Pass, Wicked Creek, and stuff like that. So it's we've still got, and I think about another month to go before indexes are up and all structures are anchored and so on and so forth. But we are really getting there now. So I just thought I'd give you guys a little update what's going on in the Beehive, so you can got an idea of what's what. So we're gonna have a very quick look at Dotland because it's kind of relevant. Goons, we've handed another 40 systems over to Fnatic Legion, who have 158 systems now, which is a lot of systems considering their size. But I imagine this is giving them the opportunity to grow. So they lost a bunch here, which went to another alliance, and then we're given some new ones back. But as I said, the reshuffle is still going on. There's so I mean it's not much, but Brave are still getting some stuff moved around. There's some recruiting going on, so it looks like everything's just getting to that ticking over phase now, where there's not many jump bridges around here, because obviously when you hand Sov over to another alliance, and the index goes down, I believe, because I think you even if it transfers ownership, you don't keep the index level of that system, so you then have to wait. I think it's 30 days to be able to get an Ansiblex up, maybe a bit more, before you can get an Ansiblex up to a jump bridge to get around your space, because this is impasse, I believe, here. But yeah, it's shaping up all right now. With transfers of space, it's that waiting game for infrastructure to go back up. But I think in the next month or two, be a lot more jump bridges, and then we can start getting back to making money, sending fleets out again, and then looking at deployments. Hopefully, I'm hoping for a deployment. We can deploy over to, I don't know, maybe Derelict to go on third party on whatever the hell's going on over here, which I am going to be covering very, very soon. I know I said previously I was going to cover it. We're going to come to that. I just need to get a fair bit more information about it, because I believe Fraternity and Test, Winter Coalition have deployed down here to basically fight the locals around here in Derelict, Devoid, mainly Absolute Order. That the alliance, which are they're predominantly a high sec alliance, but they are trying to branch out into null sec, and we're going to be going into that when I've got a bit more information. But just as a teaser, I do actually have I have been speaking to the alliance leader of Absolute Order, and we're going to be doing an interview with him. We're going to be talking to him about in the same format as all my other interviews are. So we're going to be seeing what it's about, what the alliance is about, all that sort of good stuff. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that one. And let me have a quick look at what else there is to cover, because there is quite a lot of news this week, actually. I believe. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you the information I have now on this war in Providence and Absolute Order and Test and Fraternity and Winterco, basically. So this is from the side of Absolute Order. Absolute Order and Fraternity and no feuds, because I thought there might have been a feud between Absolute Order and Fraternity. But it's mostly American and English and some Irish people that are in Absolute Order. We have people from all over the world. Test declared war on us a month ago, just a few hours ago. Test declared war on the Central Army, and without any justification. And more importantly, they attacked our dearest ally, CVA Bridge, in KBP7, which I believe is people attack jump bridges to get a response and get a fight. And that's a quote from our leader. Test are supported by Fraternity on top of that. And now this is interesting. I don't know how true it is, but again, it's probably just through the grapevine. So I don't know what kind of merit it holds. So on top of that, I heard that Siberian squads, who are part of Winterco, are going to take over Providence with the backing of Fraternity. That's what my Russian friends have told me. So that's interesting. That's an interesting spin on it. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know if Siberian squads are looking at taking Providence. It's not... Famously, it is not the best space. It's always been used as for like a small corp or an alliance wants to test out what nullsec is like. They'll come take a few systems with the, they'll speak to the locals, they'll take a few systems, and then they will live there, they'll make money, they'll recruit, and then they've got the opportunity to go from there. So there is Absolute Will, who are Absolute Order, and part of Absolute Order, which there's Absolute Will, Absolute Honor, I think the alliance is, and there's Absolute Order, Absolute Will, and Absolute Honor. And I think, looking at this, at Absolute Will, yeah. So 3,000 members. They did have more systems, and that's so they've got, how many systems have they got now? They've got 6 systems. Okay, so they've got 6 systems. I don't know if they're intended on pushing through here, but they said they were allied to CVA, so I don't think they are going to be allied with CVA, if I'm honest, because... I don't think they're going to be attacking CVA. I think, by the sounds of it, AO is going to be helping CVA, which checks out if Test and Fraternity and Winterco are coming in to fight. So with all this going off, it looks like these guys have come in from high sec. They've pushed into nullsec, and I don't know if they plan on taking over the whole area. There is a lot of drama behind this, like some stuff that I'm really cautious about touching, because there's been accusations made backwards and forwards about certain cultures within certain groups. So I'm not going to touch it yet. I know some people have openly spoken about it. I'm being very cautious about touching it because of how nuclear it could potentially be. So I'm trying to not sit on the fence. I just want to get all the facts first before I make any judgments or videos or anything like that. I'm trying to be very careful with it. Now, where's that test guy? Okay, so let's have a look. So a guy from Test, you know who you are, and has messaged me and given me the rundown. Basically, looking at this, is a lot of it is they've deployed down there as like a content deployment. Test have. They've got the backing of Fraternity should they need it, but it looks like Test have gone down to deploy against these guys to fight them and to basically goad them into fights, which has been working. They've been getting a lot of fights, they've been getting a lot of brawls by the sounds of it. I believe Absolute Honor, the coalition or the alliance, Absolute Will, the alliance, I believe their strategy is warping their fleet at 0 and brawl it out, which is a kind of a balls to the wall sort of way of approaching a fleet fight. Interesting, but it's like just trying to brute force something with it's like hammering a square through circle. If you hammer hard enough, it will go through. It depends how many ships you've got and how many people you've got in fleet, if you can apply enough pressure for that square to go through said circle. And they said, believe it or not, we're actually dunking them really hard. So they're just getting really, really good fights out of it, and just basically, just dunking them, reinforcing stuff, and when they come up to defend it, they just fight whatever comes to defend it. So typical of a content deployment where you're not actually committing to taking SOV or anything like that. You are hitting structures, and if they don't turn up, they either fight or they just lose the structure. Either way, there's fights and kills to happen. There's a lot of, there is a lot going on with this. There is a lot going on in the background of this. So Fraternity also saw how much fun Test was having and moved down as well. And AO are apparently bat-phoning and everyone they can to come and help them. So it's pretty fun bloodbath with a healthy amount of skew towards our side, aka the good guys. There's only one good guys in Eve, and it's goons. We're the good guys, believe it or not. But yeah, there's I will, once I get some more information about this AO and Providence and Test and Winterco fight engagements, I will update you guys. So that is believed taking place around Providence, Derelict, because there's some big low sec brawls in Derelict with Fraternity and Snuff, but I think that's more Fraternity wanting to fight Snuff on realistically, and Snuff is kind of like they're the people that everyone in, they're like the boogeyman of low-sec, and with low-sec, with them having such a presence in low-sec, they can pretty much get to anywhere they need to with dreads. And just if they've got like what I've seen Snuff doing, which I did stream actually on YouTube and Twitch, is that fight, that big Trillionisk fight. And what Snuff do, by the looks of it, is they drop a Fortizar. What they do is they drop a Fortizar, then they they do some stuff in the area, wait for that Fortizar to get refed, and then they start moving assets over for the fight. And you know, that's how they want to get fights, which, you know, fair enough. It's a good tactic and it works. But as soon as any more develops in this area, guys, I will be letting you know what's going on, who's winning, who's losing, or if it's a draw or any of that sort of stuff, and I will be keeping you guys up to date. I will be trying to make sure there's at least one video a week, guys. At the minute it's hit and miss because with trying to work and be in and out of the hospital and whatnot, it is quite difficult, but I will try my best to get at least something out a week for you. So if you are new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button. As I said, we are aiming for 10,000 by the end of the year, which gives us 4 months to get 10,000 subs. It's a hell of a challenge, but I'll be happy if we get to 4 or 5 if I'm honest. But 10 is the ultimate goal. So please help us out on that one. That'd be absolutely amazing. If you did enjoy this, guys, a like on the video would be brilliant. And also, if you've got any information whatsoever about any of these engagements that I haven't quite touched on, or you think would be noteworthy for going into a video, if there's an engagement in your area, or if there's, you know, something big happening in your area, please feel free to join my Discord and drop me a DM and I will respond and we can get something set up to do that. The Alliance Leader interviews are going to continue, do not worry. I know you guys have been enjoying looking at those, looking at Eve through the eyes of an Alliance leader and what it's like to be in charge of thousands and thousands of people, and a little bit about what those people are like as well. You actually get into the mind within that Alliance leader, and they are really good. So thanks for coming, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Hopefully by the end of next week I'll have another video together for you, but take care and see you next time. Thank you.